Yo, like, what is this? Like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong with people? Like, what is this that Africa, it's like a big place? What is this that people think like Africa, it's 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 like a non-existing place. Like, it's like a garbage. Like, what is this that when you call people Africans, they don't feel proud? What is this? People want to get away with being Africans or to be called Africans. What is this that people are ashamed of being originated from Africa, being African? I just don't get it. Like, Africa has become like a big word. When you call someone African, it's like you're cussing them, you know? Like, what is this? When you mentioned Africa to people, people started shaking. People don't get it, don't understand. It's like some people think like, oh, Africa, it's jungle. Africa is disease, violence, animals all over the place. Poor, only poor people who lives in Africa. Africa, it's like a tribalism. People are divided in tribes and they hate each other, they kill each other. There is wars going on. Starvation. People don't eat. They don't have food. People stink. They don't take a shower. Matter of fact, they don't even have water. What is this that people think all Africans need help? People in Africa are poor people who need help, who needs, oh Jesus, a lot. Like, what is this? Like, matter of fact, it's so funny and it's so a shame. And Jesus, I just don't get it. Like, why is this some Africans prefer not to be called Africans? Like, Africans. How bad does that sound? Like, Africans to be like prefer not to be African, not to be called in Africans, not to be in Africa, not to like not even to speak African. They are not living language. Like, what is this? Like, who else is gonna love Africa if as Africans don't want to love Africa, want to get away from Africa, want to forget Africa? Who's gonna love it? Who's gonna look after Africa? Africa, it's a beautiful place, just like any other places. It just need people to love it and develop it. It can be beautiful as New York, as London, as Hong Kong, as Japan, as Australia, whatever it is. But we just need to love Africa and then look after Africa. It don't mean just because you married outside of your race or somewhere it means to forget Africa. You can always love and develop Africa. It doesn't matter where who you marry or not. You know, marrying outside of Africa, it doesn't mean like it's to not be African anymore. You know, so like, what is this that like Africans think that forgetting the African language, it's special nowadays. What it is that Africans can't even teach their kids an African language, you know? Like, what is this? Well, not to speak African languages equals cool. Like, what is this when you speak other languages other than African languages equals cool, beautiful, you know? Like, what is this? And what's wrong with African? Well, leaving Africa, going outside of Africa, equals opportunities, because being better, being successful, being cool, being beautiful, being rich, and all that. You know? Like, what is this? Africa, it's beautiful. Like, we need to love it and stay there and develop it, you know? So it's like it's a shame because there's a lot of people who are not even from Africa. Let me say like white people or Asian people, Chinese, and or Hispanic, who goes to Africa and they think like Africa it's beautiful. Some people choose to live there because they think Africa it's beautiful and it has opportunities and all that. But us from Africa, we're the ones who feel like Africa is not beautiful and we have to leave Africa, go and forget all about Africa. Then that's our success. That's how it's being glitched. And it's crazy, especially for us who live abroad. We Most of us don't even want to go back to Africa. Most of us have just like misunderstood Africa. We just think like Africa it's poor just because we get it. We left Africa as poor, is still poor and all that. We don't get to see that Africa needs, all these nurses, these doctors, these business people, these all of these like people who are here and are educated, they have skills and knowledge to do the things here that they can go back and even teach people in Africa and develop African people's lives there. So or Africans will have to live just like we did, So Africa will be just like a perfect world as other nations and continents, So like I was born in Africa, Rwanda, but my parents are from originally Burundi. I grew up in Tanzania and the USA, but when I came here, I didn't know so much about Africa because I was still a teenager and I didn't know much what's going on. But I had to learn Africa through like online asking questions and stuff. It's so crazy that nowadays you can learn so much about Africa, but there's people who still don't know, have no clue about what's going on in Africa and what it is. So we need like to love where we came from and stuff like that. And we need to educate our friends and our children about it and stuff so they won't forget, because we are the ones who's gonna develop our nations and our world. So it's a shame when the people who not even originally there or who wasn't even born there love it, Africa more than even we do. So don't get me wrong, just moving back to Africa without a plan in your hands, without like a good savings account, it won't help. So that's why you need to work hard and go back and do something, because there is so much you can do even out there than you even where you are right now. I'm telling you. So that's why like I don't get it. Like we need to wake up and level up, just like Sierra said. Like because Africa is not something to be ashamed for. It's actually something to be proud of. Like it is. So yeah, that's why we need to take a responsibility and love where we came from and develop where we came from, so we'll be able to make our lives better and our future lives better and the future of Africa and the world in general better. If Africa it's better, the world is better, everybody it's better, then we don't need people who begs and help, and we don't have anybody who looks us down anymore, thinking like Africa it's jungle, it's bad, it's worse and stuff like that. And we need to love each other as Africans, as a people of the world. So yeah, that's why some Africans need to check themselves and stop being ashamed of being African or being called African just because somebody say Africa it's bad, it's jungle. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to keep like having that mentality like that. You can be like, no, Africa it's beautiful. Or Africa can be beautiful if it's not. And I want to be a part of those people who want to change it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that Africa is all perfect. Africa is a developing continent. Therefore, they still have a lot of issues, a lot of things that need to be changed. Like a collapsed government, like division, like and other things that the citizens of Africa need to like really learn and kind of like develop themselves and stuff. But what I'm trying to say is there hope for Africa? Yes, there is a lot of hope that if we all became united as African United Nation, like we can accomplish so much. And if we all can learn to love Africa and not forget Africa, but give it back to Africa and even go back and do something for Africa, that Africa can change and the world will start looking at it in different way. And even us, we started looking at it in different ways and started loving Africa than ever before. And they feel like we want to go to Africa, take a vacation to Africa, go to live it to Africa, send our kids to live in Africa. And Just Africa be a perfect place to go and to hear about and to talk about to people. Yeah.